Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. I am your host, Kim Thompson Pinder, and joining me today is Adalah. Now, on the last guest episode, I explained to you that I have been part of Podcast Palooza, the amazing one-day event where you learn about podcasting as a guest and as a host, and you got to interview people on the spot. And when I saw Adalah, I saw her profile. I'm like, okay, yes, I want her on the show. So today we're going to be doing a slightly shorter episode, but I'm going to give you her introduction and then I'm going to let her tell your story because she has a very fascinating one. So Queen Adalah is a business advocate. She has over 20 years of experience in consulting, course creation, entrepreneurship, perfect for the Author to Authority podcast. She is a master business strategist, and she helps driven entrepreneurs to launch and grow their business with limited resources. And who can put up their hand here and say amen to that? She was born in Atlanta, but now hangs out in Texas and when she's not traveling. She has served in the U.S. Navy, and she was one of the first females to serve aboard the naval ship USS Wasp. Now, she is also, amazingly, she has won awards for her Queen's Table vegan cuisine, and she did it all while she was serving. And she's as a mother as well. So she now helps entrepreneurs to elevate their brand by monetizing their message. Welcome to the show, Queen Adalah. Adalah.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me on. How are you today, Kim?
I am awesome. So Adalah, you have a really fascinating story, and we're going to get to all the wonderful knowledge you're going to share. But tell us, how did you become a business advocate? Because, your part of your bio was not that you were pretty quiet and shy.
Yes. No, I wasn't at all.
Oh, you weren't? I apologize.
No, I was never quiet and shy. But I will tell you that even to this day, I can't believe that this is my story because I get to train and lead so many leaders, powerful people, and teach and make an impact on so many people. And let me tell you why I can't believe that this is my story. Because in chapter 1 of my story, I was a teenager with a speech impediment. By the time I hit chapter 2, I was a single mother in the 11th grade, Kim.
Oh, wow.
Third chapter. Now I'm in my third chapter. Somehow I'm raising my right hand and I'm enlisting into the United States Navy, right? And then somehow I had transitioned from the Navy to the Army by the 4th chapter. And in that 4th chapter, when I retired from the Army, I was the first African-American female in field artillery history to earn the rank of first sergeant. Somehow, by the time I made it to the 6th chapter, I was opening 2 vegan restaurants. Keep in mind, I used to love oxtails and lobsters and crawfish, right? I'm from Atlanta originally. But somehow, here I am. I'm launching El Paso's first vegan restaurants, and I'm hitting the multi-6 figures by the 2nd year, right?
Wow.
So the numbers I'm out of control. I'm like, wow. Now, the 7th chapter rocked my world. 7 chapters when I learned about grief. I lost a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate to COVID, people who are in my everyday. And so I really, in that chapter, learned to appreciate the things I have in my life. But now here I am. I'm starting my 8th chapter, and you're in it, Kim. I'm starting my 8th chapter, and here I am, the founder of a speaking academy. Mm-hmm. So how do I go from speech impediment to the founder of a speaking academy? How do I go from single mother to the first African American to achieve such accolades in the Army? How do I go from loving my Southern cuisines? I could still smell the smell in my grandmother's house to owning a successful vegan restaurant. I don't know, Kim. I'm still trying to do the math. But if I can do it, I just want to let everybody out there know odds are made for being beaten, and you can too.
You know what? That is so awesome. Many of our audience know that I was told at 7 years old that I should not write because I was not a good writer. And
Mm.
30 years of chapters later was when I finally started my writing career and then becoming a publisher. So I can so totally relate to your story that, the unexpected happens in our lives. Did I grow up thinking I was going to be a publisher?
Yes.
No, that was not on my wheelhouse of things. I mean, I didn't even think I would author a book, let
Mm-hmm.
alone, help now over 200 people
Mm-hmm.
have written their own books. So what an incredible journey that you've had. And when you talked about your grandma's house, I
Yes.
remember, my grandma had a very small apartment. So we usually did not have the family meals at her apartment, but she would go to whoever's place and just cook. So
Mm-hmm.
when you entered the house, that was the smells were just,
Yes.
you were like, can we eat now? No, you got to wait 3 hours. Seriously, I hope you got snacks. Oh, so I know that you've come today to share some really powerful knowledge with my audience of entrepreneurs, professionals, speakers, and coaches. So I am going to let you loose for a little bit to share what you've prepared for us, and then we'll talk about it.
Thank you so much. I just want to share 3 tips very quickly, just that can help you on your journey. And maybe if it aligns with you, maybe you can form them into tips that can help you form a better 2022, especially if you're anything like me and your 2021 got rocked, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let's go ahead and start 2022 strong. So the first thing I want to recommend is find some form of accountability. We all need accountability, right? Find a tribe, find a coach, find a mentor, and you can even implement self accountability as well. Even myself, a lot of times when we go to the gym, Kim, we got to have the perfect socks, the perfect shoes, the perfect workout gear, right? And then we got all that's left is that little gym membership on the keychain, right? And then we just stop going to the gym. No, no, earn it, earn it. Say to yourself, you know what? If I work out for the next 3 months and I lose X amount of pounds, or if it's your goal to gain X amount of pounds, I will earn the right to buy tennis shoes. Earn it. The second thing I want to encourage you to do is, a lot of times we go through life and we talk about goals and things like that, but I want you to get clear on your purpose. Get clear on your purpose. And one great way to do that is to figure out what problem you solve. If I walk up to you or you walk up to me and I ask you, hey, what problem do you solve? I want you to say, hey, I help people to stand up for themselves, or whatever your problem is, that problem is that you help people solve. I want to know that, right? And then when you create this purpose, I want you to turn it into a vision, and I want it to be so clear that you know the sights, the sounds, the smells. You know the texture of your purpose, of your vision, right? And then the last thing I want to recommend, highly recommend, is that, you know, grow gratefulness. Get very grateful. Because for some reason what I found is that when you're grateful, somehow you we're just awarded with more things to be grateful about. So just those 3 things.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
will help
So,
you form 2022.
so true. So I've never told this publicly,
Mm-hmm.
but I love, well, okay, I've mentioned that I love to swim, but of course, over COVID, the swimming pools were closed and that.
Yes.
But this year, they finally opened again. And I was so excited to be going swimming. But when the pool had closed, the pool actually closed just before COVID because the pool had a crack and it was leaking water into the basement. So they'd
Oh.
actually closed the pool in February, and then of course March hit and everything, right? So back in February, my bathing suit was kind of falling apart. I had was well worn and well used and chlorinated. And I had thought to myself, okay, March break's coming up, spring's coming up, I'll hit the store, bathing suits, are going to start appearing again in the stores. And so I was like, okay, this is good. And then everything shuts down. So a year later, not even really thinking about it, I go to put on my bathing suit and it's sagging. It's all this. I'm like, okay, I have a problem.
Wow.
I do not have a really functional
Yeah.
bathing suit. So I go, like, I live in a rural area. So it's not like I have 50 million stores to choose from. And I am on the bigger side. So I go to Walmart and, not a lot of selection there because it's the wrong time of year. But I find this one bathing suit and it looks really like I love the look of it. I love the
Wow.
color of it. I get it home and I put it on. It is so low in the chest that I am practically hanging out.
Wow.
And I'm like,
No. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not wearing this thing in public.
So what did you do? You put a shirt over it, or?
I started wearing a tank top underneath it because it was
Yeah.
just like, but I didn't really have much choice. Like I didn't have a lot of options in terms of bathing
Yeah.
suits, right? But I think, when you talk about getting all the stuff ready,
Hmm.
I think something that's really important, and the reason why I'm telling this story is, what, I didn't let, an imperfect bathing suit, I could have
Yeah.
let that stop me from going back and starting to swim again. I could have said, yo, yeah, you know what, I can't buy a bathing suit, let it become my excuse for not exercising, right? So,
Yes.
but I just decided, okay, there's got to be a solution. I found a tank top that was basically the same color. I put it on underneath. Did not look great. I was constantly adjusting it, while I'm doing the aquafit exercising because everything just kind of
Yes.
moved all over the place. But it worked. And then finally I was able, to go online a month or two later and, order, a proper bathing suit for doing
Yes.
swimming exercises in. But I could have let that stop me,
Mm.
you know? And so I love the fact that you have that accountability in there and being accountable to yourself. I could have given up on it, but I was like, no, okay, am I going to look silly? Yeah. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Yeah. But you know what? I needed to get back into the pool and
Yeah.
exercising for my health, right? So I didn't
That's
let
right.
that become an excuse. So I loved how you talked about the accountability. And then as an entrepreneur, being clear on your purpose. Oh,
Hmm.
wow. The audience
That's
here
right.
knows I am
Yeah.
so on top of that. We have done so many episodes on, finding your niche. Who do you serve? How do you
Mhm.
serve them? And who are you in relationship to the first two, right? Like that, we talk about the core marketing message all the time. And so I love that you mentioned that. And that is so true for coming into 2022. So let me ask you, Adalah, what are some things that are you grateful for? Because I know, 2021 was not the greatest year for you, but what
Yes.
were some of the things that you could look back and say, you know what, I'm truly thankful for it?
Well, I journal every day, and a part of that is gratitude. And I could begin by saying that I'm grateful for the air that flows through my lungs, and I absolutely am. Just to be able to breathe with ease, and it's just so medicinal. But one major thing that I am so grateful for is that when I wake up in the morning these days, right? Because I retired from the military, I wake up happy knowing that I could do whatever I want with my time, Kim. My time belongs to me. And if
Yes.
I don't want to do something, I give them a strong hell no, I'm not doing that. And if I want to do something, I give them a strong hell yes. So I have positioned my life where I put the things in my day that ought to be there. And I'm so grateful for that.
That is awesome. So you had a child in grade 11. So, what
Yes.
was that like, being in the Navy, having a child, all that?
Oh,
Because that must
Kim.
have been,
Yes, yes. It's kind of like you gave us a wonderful story about, your swimsuit just now. And you said, you were very clear. Hey, listen, my purpose, is to get out there and swim and get my exercise on. My purpose is not to be the best looking one in my swimsuit, right? I was very clear that my purpose was to get out and make a life for myself. And at the time, my son. I've since had more children. I was very clear that was my purpose. And it was very, let's say I got comfortable in uncomfortable situations very quickly, right? And that's what we women, we do. We're really good at getting comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And especially being one of the first females on the WASP, on the naval ship, talk about comfortable and uncomfortable situations, talking about being the first African American to do X, Y, and Z in the Army, comfortable in uncomfortable situations. But what I will tell you is this: the thought of not being a good mother, the thought of not being a champion for my children, that outweighed any degree of uncomfortableness that I went through. And so it allowed me to be, where I am today. So yeah, it was difficult, but it was worth it.
That is so awesome. I love that. So how do you help like entrepreneurs? So your bio says you help entrepreneurs to elevate their brand. So tell us a little bit about how you help people, and then how can people connect with you?
Well, one of the things I do to help people is I help them to figure out their purpose, right? Because I believe that purpose is already inside of us. We just have to figure out how to connect with it. Everybody that's listening, myself, you, everyone, our purpose is already inside of us. It's not predetermined, but we just got to figure out how to speak its language to draw it out. Mm-hmm. And I think that a big part of the problem, especially for my clients, is that they're waiting on some big lightning storm, some big type of thing. Sometimes
like a sign saying this is it.
Right. Sometimes it could be so simple, right? And let me stop this. And, earlier I was using my tweezers to tweeze my eyebrows, right? And I'm thinking to myself, it wasn't my purpose to create tweezers, but oh my goodness, thank God somebody created tweezers, right? I met Miss America in 2004. I was out in the field and she came out, and she was gorgeous, of course. And I'm out there in my uniform with a whole bunch of soldiers, and everybody's asking her all these questions, hey, what is it like to be Miss America and all this stuff. And I had one question for her. What's your platform? What do you stand for? And she said that she helped to fight internet pedophilia, right? And I thought to myself, that's not something I would want to do, but I'm so happy that somebody is doing it. That was her purpose. And so one of the things that I help my clients with is purpose. And if any of you need help with your purpose, you can contact me at Adalah at Facebook, Adalah at Instagram, and at Queen Aza at LinkedIn as well, and also at www.chiefexecutivesister.com.
Thank you so much. Oh, that is so awesome. And I loved what she said, because she had her purpose and then she used the platform as the tool to get her purpose and her message out there. Yes. Wow, just blows me away. So this has been Kim Thompson Pinder and Adalah Aza on the Author to Authority podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the very next episode. Bye now.
Bye.